Thank you, Ms. Genia. I think we have a bit of time before lunch, so let's have a bit of a conversation before then. So let me strike whilst the iron is hot. FX. I think it's fair to say that FX is the #1 issue, front and center of CEOs and CFOs in PNG. So Ms. Genia, are you able to give us a sense of the current FX order book that's outstanding? And is that number real, knowing that some businesses might not even bother going to the banks to place their order because there's no FX available for them to get?
Do I press this on?
I think it's on.
Oh.
It's on.
Oh, thank you for that question. I don't have the exact amount, but I believe it's it's popped up to where the figure was last quite high. But yeah, the bank understands the extreme pressures that our companies are facing. And it's true to say it's undermining growth, the national economy. But put simply, there is more demand to send money overseas than there is money coming onshore. And our economy needs to address this imbalance. So it makes it easy for businesses to grow and keep the earnings in the country. We know that the PNG supply of foreign currency fell at the end of PNG LNG construction phase. And that had a significant impact on our foreign currency inflows, which contributed to the current shortages that we are facing. And as I said, the bank has been intervening more than what it done in the past. It was around 40 million, but that was increased to about 100 mil this year per month. And that's a record level. We have an understanding with a good working relationship with the IMF program and the government to address that particular issue, but there are structural issues. It's quite a big challenge, and it's not just the Bank of Papua New Guinea, it is the whole of government to work together towards addressing those structural issues. But from the bank's perspective, as I said, we've started addressing those structural issues. We've reformed the monetary policy framework, and we've introduced that 7-day CBB bill to central bank bill as a tool, as one of the monetary policy tools to absorb that excess liquidity. We also, I think you've heard in a couple of 3 days ago about the updates from Kina Bank, and there was another good speech about where the Kina has right now. I think it's been overvalued between 5% and 8%. And we've facilitated a small depreciation to help improve the currency, to help improve our liquidity. So these are measures that we are currently taking to help address these FX shortages.
Thank you, Ms. Genia. Thank you. Then, BSP. Let's talk about our biggest bank in country. It's pleasing to note from your presentation that BSP has actually helped in financing some of the large-scale infrastructure projects in the country, some of the Port Moresby roads, the move of the wharf across the bay from the old wharf to where the new wharf is now in Port Moresby, and so on. Of all the banks in country, BSP might have the balance sheet to actually participate directly in the resources sector. Does BSP actually have appetite to participate in financing some of these large-scale resources that are coming on stream?
Well, I think we've, sorry if you can hear me. Thank you, David, for that question. Clearly, we've shown a history and a success of participating in these projects, and in fact, we're working very closely with a number of our resource sector customers to make sure we provide that. We've got ample liquidity, we've got more than ample appetite, and as the largest bank in Papua New Guinea, as I said earlier, it's our obligation to make sure we're supporting all segments of the community. Corporate and institutional and the teams are here, and we would have needed 2 hours for BSP to walk through all the various things we're working on. But equally, we stand ready to support not just our corporate institutional customers, but all customers. But I think it suffers to say that with the balance sheet that we've got that capability to assist.
Thanks, and that's really pleasing to know and hear. As an economy, we do need to build our own capital pool, capital base, to participate in these projects meaningfully and fully going forward. So it's really nice to see BSP growing and helping to finance some of these large-scale projects that are coming on stream. Roppe, you spoke about the Kina Bank's digital strategy. You gave us some, a sense of some of the opportunities that lie in the digital space. But what are some of the challenges you're finding as you implement your digital strategy?
Thanks, David. The initial, there's two main concerns when, especially in PNG, and I think everyone kind of has an idea. It's about adoption, getting people to adopt new ways and newer behaviors in terms of how they deal with their money. And that's Kina's, because it's part of our core strategy, we face it head on, but obviously many other businesses also face that when they're trying to get into a digital space. And I know the bank, PNG, has been working for a number of years trying to encourage more adoption and devising ways and programs and to address that. And we're certainly looking at positioning ourselves and getting that message out in the branches, beyond Port Moresby, beyond Ley, and that's where the challenges happen. But we're certainly driven and focused on getting out there and getting that adoption across. I must say, BSB have done it in the past as well, with taking the pads out. That's a good example of taking out in the communities, and we're certainly looking at innovative, even more innovative if we can, ways of onboarding our customers digitally and getting them on board. That's adoption. The other challenge is infrastructure, especially beyond the major centres. In the resource space, getting out into the resource project sites, which can be quite remote and challenged. And while the resource operators have all the access to the communications, satellite communications, etc., in those remote spaces, that doesn't necessarily get out into the communities and into the local SMEs and businesses that will bank with us. I think it's improving, especially, as I said, with low orbit satellites becoming more prevalent. A good example is Starlink. Unofficially, a lot of people are using Starlink, but it's not available in PNG officially yet. But that's an example of technology that's available, perhaps moving a bit faster than our regulatory setup. But these are opportunities that we need to kind of digest and make it work for ourselves.
Thank you. Taumaia, Credit Corp has been a long-standing finance company providing equipment finance and the likes services into the economy. At the moment, you're looking to try and become a commercial bank, but in your core finance business, what are some of these opportunities you see coming up in the near term? Different segments of the market that you see opportunities for financing in the near term, sure, with the boom that's happening.
Yeah. So the presentation focused on a lot of the small business, which is a key segment for us, around leveraging and capitalising on the growth and the resources boom. So certainly in the small business environment, working capital, access to capital, access to digital payments. We spoke about, the Assistant Governor spoke about the challenges and also the opportunities that are presented in digitising a lot of our identification, which is certainly a challenge for us to ensure that the KYC onboarding requirements are met, and that we have sufficient processes and procedures to ensure that we meet all the standards. But of course, it's accessible from a technological perspective. So ensuring that we have and we can work with a number of various different partners in the market is going to be key for us to ensure that we can provide sustainable products, sustainable services that don't necessarily rely on branches. Because at the end of the day, digitisation and a digital proposition is what's going to underpin a lot of our strategy going forward and makes it more accessible for various segments of our market. And once we are on board, once we understand our customer, we can facilitate a lot of future needs. And that includes digital payments. Because the globe, the the world is becoming smaller. So we want to actually provide access to global markets and global supply chains for our SME and also our various high net worth or various different segments of the market. So I hope that answers your question, David.
It does. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. That brings to the end this particular session. Please join me in thanking our speakers for this morning, please.
Thank you.